thank you so much. And again, I'm really sad that enda Jean Pemberton couldn't be here, but we are going to record these remarks so that she kind of get the benefit of that. I still remember the first time I met Jean Pemberton. It was in a graduate class called Great Debates of the American Civil Rights Movement, and it was coordinated around the SMU Civil Rights Pilgrimage. I was talking about HBCUs, which I really love to talk about, historically black colleges and universities, and I was explaining kind of a difficult point about the lower graduation rates that actually happen at those universities. Typically 20 to 30% of students graduate from the schools compared to maybe another school like SMU, like 90%. And I think there was kind of an implicit criticism in there, even though I have a great passion for that. But Jean was one of those students that raised her hand and kind of gently and firmly kind of challenged me, not to say that the data was wrong, but that these educators at these schools are giving their very best in order to, and there's some very special circumstances that give rise to the HBCUs, and that dialectic in the classroom, I was kind of like, gosh, I hope I can help Jean understand that I love HBCUs, and I don't want her to misunderstand that, but it was a rich moment in education to kind of have that tension, especially for me, like as a debate coach, it's kind of my passion. So in the spring break, we went out to state to do the Civil Rights Pilgrimage, and we started where I really believe the Civil Rights Movement of the United States began, at Marshall, Texas, at Wiley College, at this historically black college. And I talked about how really this location in Marshall, Texas was the historical catalyst to the movement. And I think the students really enjoyed it, Jean enjoyed it, but Jean said, hey, Professor Voth, I want to show you something. And we went to a part of the campus there at Wiley College in Marshall, Texas, and she showed me the Pemberton complex, okay? That's where Henry Pemberton mortgaged all that he had in the early 20th century and argued with local Marshall, Texas leaders to have education for black students in that segregated world 100 years ago. And were it not for that educational system that her grandfather created, there would never have been a great debater named James Farmer Jr., who was educated in that school, who won his first speech contest there, would ultimately be inspired to formulate the nonviolent civil disobedience methods that we attribute to Martin Luther King. That actually came from Farmer and came from the educational context of Marshall, Texas. And so when Jean showed me that, I was like, oh my God, you are in the legacy of educators that have really profoundly impacted this nation. If I had to debate on the affirmative that the Pemberton family is responsible for the abolition of anti-black segregation, I probably could argue for a good number of hours that that's true. And so Jean's in a long line of really great educators, and it's really wonderful that she's completed her doctorate here at SMU. If you look at her dissertation, it's really about why did black educators stick with it during the COVID crisis? And I'll just draw your attention, it doesn't ask why did they quit, it asks why did they stay? And that's a really important intellectual framework in the way that we were trying to build something out in the way of research from an Afro-idealist perspective. And in some ways, I think it's sort of ironic tonight that a flat tire prevented her from getting here tonight. But I know you will never give up, Jean Pemberton. And I know that because you successfully defended this dissertation and completed this doctorate. I'm so proud of you. I think it's a really important historical legacy, even for SMU. And so, Jean, I'm sorry you couldn't be here, but I have the highest respect and honor in directing you in this project. Congratulations.